What's going on, everyone? I'm the casual reviewer. I'm the fine line between critic and casual viewer. And last night, I saw Captain Marvel. So, in case you don't know what Captain Marvel is, which you're watching this because you do, but I'm still going to give a synopsis of it, a quick synopsis. Captain Marvel, she was abducted by aliens, and so we're in the process. We start out with her in space, fighting off the Skrulls, and as she's fighting off these Skrulls, she kind of gets shot down to Earth, and where she's gonna go on her mission on Earth, which is to find this energy source that her people need, which turns out to be the Tesseract, essentially, which she has to find. So the movie is basically her trying to find this energy source or the Tesseract while fending off her enemies, the Skrulls, anyone that's trying to stop her, really. And then in the course, figuring out about herself and her life and how she used to live on Earth and trying to figure out her past and everything like that. Within the first 20-25 minutes of this film, I was worried. I was a little bit worried just because the Skrulls, they can shapeshift, and they can shapeshift to the exact DNA of anyone that they look at. The only thing that distinguishes them from the actual person is the memories. The memories of the original person, the Skrulls do not know. The shapeshifters, they don't know. So that's one way to tell. There's a couple instances in this movie where that's how Sam Jackson knows whether someone's a Skrull or not, because he knows that this guy, calls him by a name that no one ever calls him by, things like that. And so that's really the only way you know. And in a movie, when that's the only way obviously, especially in an action movie, something like this, where you're not going to every single time be able to sit someone down and go over, memories and see if they are actually that person, be able to distinguish whether they're the real person or not. It makes it tough because then it causes you as a viewer to, speculate, like, who is good and who's evil, who's actually that person, who's not. And that distracts you from the story. It takes attention away from the actual story and the objective of what the story is. And for me, that really worried me. But fortunately, that was only like maybe the first 25-30 minutes where it was constant, like, someone is actually a Skrull, they're not actually that person. So that was, I'm glad that it, didn't do the whole movie, but it distracted me from the beginning. But moving aside from that, the acting is good. Brie Larson, I mean, she's a great actress. She's always a good actress. It's a safe move, but she's good. She plays the part well, and yeah, there's nothing else really I could say. Samuel L. Jackson, he's got both eyes in this one, which means 2 times the acting, which is amazing because it's Samuel L. Jackson and he's always great. And there's my cat kind of like just doing something over there. I don't know what she's doing. So, you gotta love Sammy. You gotta love Sammy Jackson. He's great. And, there's a couple other people, like old friends that Captain Marvel had forgot about when she was on Earth, and that she meets up with. I mean, her friend and her friend's daughter, like, they're good actors and everything. Acting's always good. It's always good in, for the most part, in Marvel movies. And so, that's, a given, kind of, essentially. But for me, for the most part, this film had a lot of issues, had a lot of flaws. And I guess I could just go into that and why that is for me. I mean, part of it could be biased. Partially that bias could be just because I'm not a big space guy, sci-fi type of person. I don't like Star Wars. I'm not a big fan of that. Like sci-fi movies, I'm just not a huge fan of. And this movie felt kind of like a Star Wars / like goblins from outer space type of movie, which I'm just not really interested in. And so for a lot of those parts and like the space battles and stuff, I mean, I'm glad they weren't too long, but that's just really not for me. So part of that could be biased. Not that they were directed poorly or anything like that. It just doesn't do anything for me. But my biggest issue I have to say with this movie is, for a movie that most of the runtime has Captain Marvel on screen, I mean, the movie is Captain Marvel, right? I feel like I didn't come out of it really knowing much about Captain Marvel other than she's a powerful female superhero. That's really all that I've come out with. Essentially, she's Captain America just in a female body, and she's much stronger. So that's what I came out with it, because I don't know, the parts where you kind of see her and how she was on Earth are very short, and they're all through flashbacks. So you don't really see that part of her and her struggle and everything that was going on. You just see kind of part of it, and I get no emotional connection to it when I don't really know who she is as a person, other than she's just a superhero. I mean, just imagine Captain America, the first Avenger, if you watch that. I know some people don't really like it, but I mean, you can't deny that that was like a great introduction for Captain America, and that you really got information on him and Steve Rogers. I mean, you come out of that knowing his name is Steve Rogers. This one, I know her name is Carol. I don't remember her last name. Not that it's super important or anything like that. Just imagine the first Avenger if it didn't show all of the parts where he was courageous, and that he liked Peggy, that he liked Peggy, and that he had a friend, Bucky, and that they showed that whole part of that story, and how courageous he was, and that when a grenade was thrown, he jumped on it opposed from running away from it, which is stupid but courageous. You can't deny that's a courageous act. With this movie, I kind of, if you're gonna do that, like, I kind of want to see that part. I want to see who she is in this. I don't really see it. I mean, it's not like she's super charismatic. I don't see like a lot of comedy out of it, which I don't need that, but I need something. I need some sort of characteristic other than just knowing she's a superhero. So obviously, being a superhero, she's courageous, there are moments she's courageous, and there are moments obviously where she's gonna be fighting with her inner self and holding herself back for whatever. That's always how it is. And so I just want to see what distinguishes her from other superheroes, and and her story. And I just didn't get that, so I didn't come out again knowing much about her. And so for me, I've discussed plot devices in other videos if you watch them, and what they are is essentially something that someone writes into a script to get from point A to point B, but it has no real purpose. It's just there to get from point A to point B. And I feel like that's what this movie is. It's really just an origin story for the Avengers. It shows that how she was literally the inspiration for the Avengers initiative. That's kind of what this movie is, and I feel like this whole movie was just a plot device just before Endgame came out, to kind of show people how this whole thing started. And plus, obviously, she's going to be a huge part. She's like one of the strongest, if not like the strongest Marvel superhero, and so they need to show her in order to then shoestring her into Endgame. But again, just as a movie, a standalone movie itself, I wasn't a huge fan of it. And I know a lot of people have liked it. Marvel doesn't make bad films. They just make some films that I think are a little underwhelming sometimes. And unfortunately, I felt like this one was a little underwhelming. Just not terrible, but not something I'd probably watch again, which maybe sounds like I think it's terrible, but it wasn't that bad. Just not something I personally enjoyed. I know a lot of people are saying like they're getting even more excited for Endgame because of this. In all honesty, I'm just more excited because that end credit scene, I thought, is essentially a scene from Endgame, it looks like. And so I'm more excited because of that reason versus just seeing Captain Marvel in Endgame. And I actually told my friend that I went with, I was just like, hey, honestly, I'm most excited to see the end credits scene than really the movie. I didn't really have any expectations for this movie. I didn't really care to see it. It's a Marvel movie. I gotta go see it. I'm a big movie guy. I gotta go see it. And so it's not like I had super high expectations and it just disappointed me. I don't know. I'm getting a lot. I've been sitting here. You can see right here. Like, literally, I'm watching YouTube videos just of theories of what's gonna happen in Endgame. I've said so. Honestly, I see one and I'm like, that's a good point. Okay, huh? And then I'll see another one. I'll be like, okay, well, that's good too. So essentially, after watching this, my belief is that Endgame's gonna be, Iron Man. He's gonna use the gauntlet on his left arm. We're gonna be introduced to Adam Warlock. We're gonna be introduced to the Black Knight and, War Machine. He was actually just a Skrull ever since the first Iron Man. And Dory, she actually doesn't have short-term memory loss. So, just theories for me really is what it's been. And that's really getting me hyped for this movie. Anyways, guys, I'm really sorry. I know this has been the first review in a really long time, but I just, I got kind of lazy. A little bit lazy, and I thought it would be nice to reboot with Captain Marvel. I'm not really sure what other movies are coming out during the month of March, but starting April, we're gonna get Pet Cemetery. Then we're gonna get Avengers Endgame, and then we're gonna get that movie Brightburn. If you have not seen the trailer for Brightburn, please go see it. It's like a origin story for Superman, but if he became a psychotic killer, it's like a rated R horror film, and it looks awesome. That comes out on Memorial Day, so later in May, and then that's just bringing you into all the summer movies. So I'll be back on it, back on my review grind, and I really hope you guys enjoy this review. And obviously, a lot of people liked it. If you want to go see it, go see it. Some people might ask if I like this one more than Wonder Woman. Honestly, I didn't like Wonder Woman that much either. They're two very different movies, but I think Wonder Woman is better than this one. I'm getting a call now, so I should probably end it here. I hope you guys have a great day, and see you on the next one.